All right, 30-second countdown. What is up, good people? You're watching Brodsy Entertainment. I am joined today by two lovely guests. The show today will be all to do with relationships and why can't women find Mr. Right? So let's go straight over to Ray Panache. Introduce yourselves, just tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll go.
So I'm Ray Panache, and I do a lot of work in recovery, mental health and well-being. And yeah, we're talking about relationships. That's absolutely fantastic because does even Mr. Right even exist? So yeah, we're going to be delving down those kind of alleyways.
Okie dokie. And Joe, introduce yourself.
I'm just Joe.
Just Joe. Just Joe. Tell us a little bit about you as well, Joe. Come on, don't sell yourself short there.
I'll do a lot of things, to be fair.
Okay.
Hair extensions, tarot card reading, healing. I don't know, anything that I can throw my hands at, I'll do.
Oh, fair enough. Tarot card reading. That's interesting. What made you get into that?
I've always been interested from like a young age, about 10.
Mm-hmm. Has anything come true? What you've said to someone or someone?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All the time, to be fair.
Have you? Sorry.
On them. You're leaning on them right now.
Fair enough. Okay. Why can't women find Mr. Right? We'll start with Ray.
Like I just said, does he even exist? I mean, I've been through many relationships myself, so I've not really seen people have a solid I see it very rare. There is people that stay together, very strong, united together. I love that. I mean, I've never experienced that. The longest relationship I've ever had has been like 7 years with one of my baby fathers. So yeah, I don't know what's going on in today's society. You know, is it instant gratification why these relationships aren't working? And yeah, bringing it back to Mr. Right, is it just a myth? Is there a Mr. Right? Is there a Mrs. Right? Is there?
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. Joe, same question to you. Why can't women find Mr. Right?
I think them looking for too many good things in a person.
Mm-hmm.
And today, in this day and age, I don't feel like men or women, I should say, have got that much respect for themselves.
Okay.
It's like because now as soon as you get to start talking to a person, you think, oh, he's nice, and then the next thing is like they want about getting you in bed or them sending you the pictures. Do you know what I mean?
Moving way quick.
Before, no.
Okay. What were you saying? What did you say, Ray?
I was just agreeing with Joe, you know, saying that they're moving bare quick. They're just moving too quick, like instant gratification. It's like she's right. There's no courtship. There's no getting to know each other. There's no respect there. It's just, they just want to bang. And
Yeah.
that irritates me, you know. But then is it because we've got plenty of fish.com, Tinder, you know, all these different access availability places where you can get that? What happened to, you know, when people tell me about how they met their partner, their husband, you know, in a supermarket on aisle, whatever, how does that happen? That never happens to me. Have you ever met anyone in a supermarket, Joe?
I've had a few come up to me in the supermarket and I've just legged it.
Why did you leg it? What made you leg it? What was it about them that made you leg it?
I'm a bit shy. And so if like he was like paying me compliments sort of thing, and he's smiling at me, I've smiled at him, and when they've looked and smiled again and then walking behind me, I'll leg it in my car and I just get embarrassed and I go like really red. I don't know about for nothing else. Not even if and they're saying, no, would you with nobody? And I go, yeah, but it's just like I get embarrassed at that point.
Fair enough. Would you say women are too picky? And they
Yeah.
have too many icks as well. Like some I've spoken to a lot of women. I'm like, you know, you seem like a lovely lady, decent personality and everything, and they'll say to me things like, I don't like silly things. I don't like a guy that wears socks with his trainers. I don't like a guy that doesn't wear socks with his trainers. Like some of the most craziest things I have heard when it comes to women's
Wow.
icks. Why they didn't get back to a guy, and like just obviously women have the luxury of choice. Men are going to come up to you all the time anyway. You know, like most guys are out for, you know, a good time. Most guys are out for a good time most of the time, you know, and they're up for getting some action anytime, you know. So they are going to just keep hitting on women and stuff like that. But yeah, the icks. What's your we'll go about icks, Ray. What's something you've turned a guy down for, would you say?
Well, you know, when I'm looking at a partner, the type of things, that attributes that I want in a partner, it's kindness, it's compassion, it's loyalty, it's understanding, it's security, it's someone I want to look up to. Icks, it'd be the total opposite of that. Insecurity, lack of morals, you know, them ones that just cheat on you. I can't be dealing with those low vibrational type of man, them, you know, because they're not even real men. They can't even keep the penis in their pants. They've got no self-control. That gives me the ick. You know, it gives me the ick when a man talks to me and straight away is going into that sexual talk. It's like, nah, you've turned me off. I am so not interested, you know, because it's just like you've gone for that straight away. Not, you don't want to get to know me. There's no substance. And to me, that's like, if you can do that to me, you can do that to any girl. You're already showing me part of who you are already.
Same to you, Joe.
I agree totally with what they're saying. Okay, the thing that you want to find in a man is like, I don't know, maybe it's to say, oh, do you want to go for a drink, or do you want to go for a coffee? Do you know what I mean? Get to know one another, not just straight into bed. Do you know what I mean? Some people are like, oh, I'd love to do this, I'd love to wife here, I'd love to, and you're thinking, you've only known me so long. Do you know what I mean? I don't want that. Yeah, I'm just happy with the way I am. I suffered like how many years domestic violence, and I got out of that relationship. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I look for red flags now. So if somebody, this is what I was saying the other day, somebody buys me flowers, straight away, that's a red flag. Oh, now you might think you're stupid, but to me, that is a red flag, because when they're bringing me flowers, it might be a good gesture. But when I used to get lamps, he used to buy me flowers. And then from that, then I'll sort of test them. And if they show me any other way, then I think, no, I knew it from the start.
So obviously, when it comes to trauma, that's always going to bring things up, you know. So some people that have been through stuff, and then, you know, like you said, you've been through that, and your partner used to bring flowers and roses, whatever, you know. So that's always going to bring that up. But yeah, I mean, you can't be blamed for that one.
Right? This is what I was saying the other week, like when you was doing that live, and I've proved a point in many ways with this, because like there was a man who bought me flowers, right? And I went out and I was like testing. He says, "Oh, can I come?" And I says, "No, I've already planned the night." And he goes, "Can I come with you?" And I went, "No." And on the night before, he said to me, he goes, he says, "I'll play a good night tomorrow." I went, "I will do, thank you." The next day, he never texted me. He never called me. Right, this is when I was at the event. And I thought to myself, well, if he thought that much of me, he would have texted me, asked me if I got there okay. He would have texted me if I'd have been, like, enjoying myself. He would have texted me the next day, anyway. So to me, it showed what type of person he was.
I think that could have been a misunderstanding as well, though, because, you know, some men are, well, a lot of men, we are quite vulnerable when it comes to rejection. So it may have just to you, it was harmless. Like I've spoken to you before, and you said that you go to these events and stuff like that, and you just go by yourself and chill, whatever. But if you said that to me, if a girl said that to me, just even me in general, I'm going to a concert, I'm staying at a hotel by myself, and then I'm going to come back, and I wasn't invited. I might take that as, wait a minute, she's off seeing some other guy, and I think that's where the jealousy, like Ray was talking about, the jealousy and insecurities come in a little bit. But it's just, loyalty is so hard to find in this day and age. You know, it's so hard to find this. Like Ray was saying, there's so many temptations left, right, and center. All these apps. If you're a woman and you're willing to put it out and you want to get back at someone, you know, you can just go to a shopping center, like you said. You know, picking up some oranges, and there'll be a guy in the aisle that are willing to take you straight back to his house after his shift, you know, so, or whatever. But it is tough. What do you say, Ray?
I shut them down straight away because I ain't got time for them. I really haven't got time for them. And you'll know when a man is know your worth. Also, a woman needs to know her worth, and also a man, vice versa. When I say woman, you know, it's vice versa every time, just in case there's anybody sexist that's like, it's not just, you know. So yeah, the like when it comes to cheating, I've cheated. I'm not going to say I'm a saint in relationships, and I've been cheated on. I don't like the feeling of being. I don't like the feeling of being cheated on, and I feel like that's karma. You know, like when I've cheated, and these are from two separate, different situations. Like, so like with my first baby father, I did cheat on him, and I feel like karma came to me recently in a fresh relationship that I had. I was pregnant, and he cheated on me whilst I was pregnant.
Wow.
And yeah, that hurt. It really hurt. Because why? Because I gave him 100. I gave him loyalty. I gave him my heart. I gave him, you know, I looked after him, you know, like a woman does, cook, clean, take care of the man. And you know what? That what I got in return was he was an insecure guy anyway to begin with. So it was like, even I had to turn my phone, you know, like my notifications off, because he'd think that I was talking to, you know, some other guy. Like me having a conversation with you right now, Broodsy, it'd be me. This is cheating. That's absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
The guy's got to be kind of semi-retarded to even be thinking them ways. Do you know what I mean? Because say if I'm on my recovery page and I'm chatting and empowering people, you know, in that arena, in that field, yeah, around mental health, my notifications are gonna go ping, 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 ping. But it ain't no, man. Don't judge me on your mentality. That's my thing. Because I just think, why are you measuring me up on your mentality? And that's where you've gone wrong. And you know what? You've lost the queen, and now you can end up with a goddamn peasant, isn't it?
Fair enough. If you don't mind me asking, you said your first relationship you cheated. Why did you cheat?
I cheated because I was intoxicated. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't mean a thing. It was a one night stand every time. It was nothing that I even continued further through. My partner could feel the vibration of that as well. Never told him. This is something I've never told him. Obviously, he knows now, you know, like as the future's gone on. I mean, it's been years now. My oldest son is 23.
Wow.
So we're talking a long time ago. But what I'm saying is, you know, even when you've cheated and you come home, you know you've done it. You act a bit funny. Your partner's gonna sense it. We've got this innate, and this is both man and woman. He could sense it that I'd done the dirty on him. And you know what? All the man was to me was loyal. And I'm telling you the truth. So I kind of fucked up my little family because of that.
Wow.
And I didn't just do it once. I did it a few times. Why did I do it a few times? Because I was an addict. I started getting addicted to, you know, the party life and the drinking well, you can't say accidentally. Do you know what I mean? Like I did what I did. Every time waking up with regret. Every time thinking, what was the point of doing that? Do you know what I mean? Why am I jeopardizing my relationship over what? Did something that's meaningless when I've got something so meaningful. So people, if I've got a message to say to you, you know, if you are with, you know, someone cheating, just don't bother doing it, you know, because it's just gonna end up in people getting hurt. And you might have a good thing, and when you have got a good thing and you just don't know it, you might lose it.
Fitting. Joe, what would you say? Your reaction?
My reaction is cheating.
Yeah.
Just start doing it. What's the point? If you've gone off a person, or you like sort of faded out in your relationship, just finish. Just finish it. Get together with somebody else. Just finish the relationship first. Because it just that's one another know it's out you and it's out the person.
Yeah, I think when you throw the yeah, go.
Do you think there's different types of cheating as well? Because like I said, mine were one night stands, meaningless, didn't mean a thing, intoxicated, boom, didn't matter, right? Never seen them again, never exchanged numbers, never gone into it, never bonded, whatever. But then you get some people who cheat like with the next door neighbor or the sister or the brother, and they'll go on for a long duration. And that to me is a little bit more kind of. So when we're looking at cheating in that aspect, would you say there is two types of cheating? I mean, cheating is cheating. You've cheated as soon as you sleep with someone. You've cheated as soon as you're texting someone. Do you know what I mean? Like I weren't even texting these people when I was with my partner that time. You know, my first partner who I've got my children to. I weren't texting. It was just I was out. Bam. I was, like I said, I was very depressed. My mental health was very poor mental health. I was the wrong coping strategies. I didn't feel like I were even getting love from my partner at the time. He was doing other things and putting his attention into other things at that time. He was a dealer, so he was putting his attentions into them things. And that hurt me. Because that hurt me, I wanted a man to stay at home. You know what I mean? I was the one that was going to college, you know, doing my humanities and social studies access course to get into university, to do my social degree. I didn't want him I wanted him to grow with me. But he was still like on a low vibration, shotting. I went into the shotting business, you know, and it hurt me. And I think that then led me to, you know, whilst I was drinking, just like I'm not making an excuse for it. It's wrong. And I did it. Some people go on like they don't cheat, like they've never cheated in their life, like they've never had a one night stand in that. You know what I mean? You know me, I stay transparent. I have been cheated on, and I've cheated. I've got to say it as it is.
Fair enough. And that's very honest. Go on, Joe.
Partners, because like neither cheating on them. Like if you've got a partner, like you're with them today, like and you feel like you're in a relationship with them, and then we'll see them, and then you don't see them for like half the week. Obviously, they're doing something. Like they'll take each other up, or yeah, anything like that. And you've got that good feeling and doing something, but they're honest and doing everything. And then you find out why your mates are up there doing something. So I thought, you know what, okay, you're supposed to be in a relationship with me. If you're doing that, I'm doing it. And then it just becomes tit for tat. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, well, if you can do it, I can do it. What is the point in that relationship? Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree with Joe there, because that's something that I didn't lower my vision. This relationship that I've just come out of, I've been cheated on. I've given 100% loyalty. I got cheated on whilst I was pregnant. I could have lowered my vibration and matched that energy and just gone and cheated on him. You know, I didn't bother doing it because you know why? I can't do something like that now. When I was talking about the past, when I cheated in that relationship, my son's 23. We're talking a good, 15, 16 years ago. You know, we grow, we mature. So now I'm giving it my all to someone, and that's when I say it's karma. You know, so when I felt it, woof, this is what it feels like. My heart's been ripped out my chest. Do you know what I mean? And it was hard, you know, dealing with those type of emotions. And I thought, this is how he felt. You know, my older two's father, that's how he felt. I've still got to apologize to him, you know, for doing that. You know, he might not accept it. That's his business. But as long as I can just like say that, that's something on my to-do list as well, you know, for forgiveness. Like, I'd like to apologize, you know, for cheating on him and, you know, ruining the family home that we once had. Otherwise, to be fair, I think if we stayed strong and united and talked more and bonded more and kind of worked together more, then we'd still be together now, like my sister is with her partner. Now I'm so proud of my sister, you know, because she's kept it strong. You know, she stayed with her partner from school, and she's still with him today. Now, not many people. That's rare. That is rare. She's got the nuclear family, 2.4, mum, dad, 2 children. Proper lover for that. Me, I've been in and out of relationships. I've been in and out of relationships. Sometimes I feel like I'm too damaged. I don't know. Am I damaged? I don't know. But now I'm not. Sorry, I'm going to retract that. I am not damaged. I've healed. I might have been damaged a little while back, you know, like when I was like an addict and stuff. But yo, no, I'm not sorry. So I had to retract that because I just definitely know that weren't me. I had to pick it up and say, nah.
You're into was it? I think you said you studied mental health and stuff like that, isn't it, Joe? You was it you studied again? Sorry.
Psychology and positive minds and stuff like that.
Okay.
I've done counselling diplomas and stuff, but I've never actually done anything with them.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's why I brought you on the show to start doing stuff with that. No, I'm joking. But yeah, all right. Let's put it out there. Men and women cheating, is it the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You're saying it's the same.
Yeah.
Why do you disagree with us? Come on, man to woman. Disagree with us.
Well, there's a theory, a very popular theory out there at the minute, that when men cheat, it's like taking a piss. When women cheat, it's sort of planned, and it has to mean like a woman traditionally will not just go and sleep with a random guy.
No, they will.
They
will.
So? And maybe in this day and age,
this day and age they will.
This day and age, they probably will. But old school value women, they would have to actually like a guy to just sleep with them. They wouldn't just go out on a night out and then just sleep with that person. So the theory behind what a lot of people are thinking is a man, he might just just go out and take a piss basically, and come
I
back
think women have adapted that. They've took that on board themselves. That same kind of way, that same kind of attitude that the man had, just taking a piss, it's nothing. I just want some pum at the end of the night. The galley of them are like that. They want some D. They want some big D at the end of the night. That's what they want.
Okay, Joe, I can see you're itching.
No, that's it. It's like when I was in a 24-year relationship. Do you know what I mean? With one man only. Never cheated. I always cooked, cleaned, looked after the kids, done everything. Do you know what I mean? And I was treated like shit.
Sorry to hear that, Joe.
Do you know what I mean? I come out of there. I went into another relationship, 3 years. He passed away, but it was a good relationship. You know what I mean? Then I come out of that, and then after then, I found that person that, as you say, like that. All I want is like a show. To be fair, that's the first thing on the mind. They don't say like, "Oh, shall we go out and shall we have this?" Like I said before, and get to know you first. Then what about like moving in and meeting your kids? And I'm like, no, that's too rushed. They don't meet my kids. Do you know what I mean? It's straight away. No.
Yeah.
And as soon as they're having sex, that's it. Then blocked.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you want. No, gone.
I mean, I hear that, but I think you mustn't read too much into it, because men, like, naturally, the first thing when we see a woman, it's sexual, it's sexual sort of feelings. And that might be unfortunate to hear, but, when men, we're just looking around, we see a woman that we like. If I think of any woman that I've ever dated or taken seriously, when I looked at them, I never thought, if I'm being honest, I never thought, oh, I want to take her to the cinemas or anything like that. I thought, oh yeah, she looks beautiful. I'd love to give her a good scene to. And then from that, it develops into a relationship. Obviously, women on the other end of it, you've got to be careful, because obviously you don't want to just be some guy's happy fun, and then you get used and abused and just kicked to the side and stuff. But I think it's just as you get older. I think as we get older, I think as women get older, they become a little bit more, selective, a little bit more picky, and it's like, they do want to be wined and dined. But there are them types of guys out there, I would say as well, that do wine and dine, but they don't tend to be the. Yeah, no worries.
No, I meant you went. There are them type of guys out there, so I'm like, yeah, cool, man.
Oh, okay, cool. Then there are nice guys out there, but women don't tend to see them very much. It's like women all want a confident, masculine, like that sort of it figure. It figure. Joe, you're itching. What do you want to say?
Bad boy.
A bad boy, yeah. Okay.
Boys, because every time I go out, right, I always seem to attract a bad boy, always. And I think, you know what? Why? But I've got to that point, right? I've been single that long, but I don't need a bad boy, I look after myself. Do you know what I mean? I can look after myself mentally, physically, and I don't need a bad boy in my life. So if anybody's watching this, if you're a bad boy, stay out.
I absolutely loved what Joe said. Loved what Joe said, because bringing it back to the relationships, it's about having a relationship with oneself, you know, like she said, the self-love, you know, that not having to need a man because you've got everything set for yourself, you know, you're already independent, you're already well taken care of, all your needs are taken care of. If the man comes along, it's a bonus. So you don't want this bad man kind of like bad man definitely are not up my street. You know, that might have been something I wanted when I was a teenager or 20. You get 30, 40 years old and you're like, do you know what? I do not want, you know, like a bad man type of character, because they don't carry a good vibration anyway. It's a very low vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. So, I mean, what about the average guy? You know, the average guy out there. Would you actually even see this guy? You know, because there are really, I've met occasionally nice guys. You know, I've listened to them and they're like, oh yeah, they're trying to take a girl out for dinner and stuff like that and blah blah blah. Then they take her out for dinner, then she goes out to a nightclub with someone else. You know, that's the sort of sad reality of where we are at the minute. But the nice guys just don't seem to be getting picked. Like, what would you, as women, what would you say to these nice guys out there that might not be the best looking, might not have the best physique? How do those kind of guys find women like yourself that are looking for a solid guy?
Let the daddy voice be to them. Do you know what? Me now, personally, I'll just go for the person, like, as in the song. Do you know what I mean? I don't go for what they look like, because to tell you what's in there. Do you know what I mean? If you ain't got nothing in there and there's no communication, then obviously, if somebody makes me laugh, do you know what I mean? We get on together, we have a good chat. There's like, you can go out with the nicest person on the earth, but they've got no sort of chat or anything. They're just like, yeah, on the phone all the time. And it's like, you met with me sort of thing, but you've got no chat with me. Do you know what I mean? That's the people I'm these days. It's just, you've got communication, you've got to have the laughter, you know, you've got to get on and stuff like that. It's like, you've got to have that connection sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they've got that, then there ain't nothing else.
Mm-hmm. And to you, Ray?
Sorry, it's because my dogs are barking, so I'm just like, why are they barking?
I was just checking to see if he's okay. I know you said you might have to shoot if you're you check.
Oh no, it's my dog's barking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Joe was saying.
Okay.
On that one.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to think. Let's turn it around. I'll put you lot on the spot, so you lot can put it towards me as towards a sort of from a guy's perspective in terms of relationships. So I don't want to just put it on you lot, you know, and drill you lot. So I'll try my best to be honest.
So what would you do if you met somebody? What would your first reaction be, or what would you do?
Mm-hmm. So if I meet someone, I mean, it all depends as well on like let's say my situation now. I'd say, so I think both of you are over 30. I'll say I don't want to shoot anyone's age. Both of you are over 30. Yeah, okay. So I mean, winter as a 30-year-old, I'd probably say, you know, if I wasn't with someone and I was looking for a relationship and stuff like that, I don't know. It would be a tough one in this day and age, because, you know, most guys are out for like these young girls. Honestly, that's the problem with old women now, sort of, you know, not even older women, but women above 30, above their 40s or whatever. You have these younger girls, these younger generation girls now that are just like, they're not playing. The way you were when you was out of control and crazy. These young girls now, and they just seem to want older guys. They always want older guys. So, like, you know, there's no influx. Like, even myself, like doing this podcast and stuff like that, a little bit here and there, sort of thing. Like, the amount of offers that I have, and I'm like, wait a minute, Jesus, you know, I am nearly 40. You know, the amount of offers that I have from sort of all over the place, and it's just like, it's yeah. I mean, a weaker man might say, you know, I'm gonna go dip my stick in certain waters and stuff like that, you know. So But I think it all depends as well, because like I've lived a good life in terms of having my fun with girls. When I was when I was young, when I was like I would say from 16, I've never had any problem getting girls. Like I've always been a confident person. I've never had no problems getting girls. So I had my sort of crazy years. But I think what happens is there's so many men nowadays that have to sort of become someone, like get their shit together first, like their finances. Because once you get your finances sorted, the girls are no problem. There are women that will come like a woman will choose a short, bald-headed, fat dude that's earning 100 grand a year over a big, tall, whatever type of guy. Women will take the security as a woman gets older. A woman will take that security 100% before that. So so some men, they get their shit together, they get their finances together. They've got a house, got a car, got a flat. And then from there, that's a good catch. They can go on these apps and just say, "Oh, girls, come over," and blah blah blah. And I think that's when they can sort of be a bit resentful as well, like towards some of the women that turned them down all those years as they were building themselves up. And then they get to that spot, and it's just like, damn, I'm having so much fun at the minute. Why the hell do I want to settle down? It's just like I want some different flavors. I want some chocolate, I want some cream, I want some all the rest of it. So it's a tough one. I would say it's a tough one. It's a tough one. As a guy, from guys' perspective, it's a tough one. If they haven't lived and they haven't had that experiences with women, then it's going to be a tough one. That kind of person, they might just, and they might be willing to find a woman, be happy with that woman, and love her, whatever. But occasionally they want to just step out and and just have a little bit of fun, which means nothing to them, but just some men are able to do well. Apparently, I don't know if it's true. A lot of men are able to have a wifey, go out, have a little bit of fun with another girl that means nothing, then come back and play happy families. Apparently that's possible. I don't personally think it is true, because I've seen a lot of guys fall in love with their side chick. I've seen that firsthand. I've seen so many guys that said, "Oh, they got a wifey," and they put this perception, "Oh, it's just me having a little bit of fun, don't mean nothing, I've got my wifey." They tell themselves that, but then what happens is they start catching. But on them, you start hitting the girl, you start sleeping with a girl enough times, she's gonna build up that emotional connection towards you, and then that's heavy, that's deep. That emotional connection when you start sleeping with someone, that is really heavy. But I've waffled on for too long. Go to Ray.
No, that's right. Yeah, because that's what I was talking about. Like they'll be cheating, like just a one night stand, meaningless, never going to see your ass again. And then there's the one where if you keep sleeping with them and you're cheating on your partner, but you keep seeing that other person, you're getting another bond with that other person, and it does become more kind of intense. Then you're lying, then you're manipulating, then that's when it becomes too complicated. So what Joe said, exactly, just leave it. If you've kind of fallen out of love with your partner, sit down with your partner. Or if you feel like you've lost the spark, sit down with your partner and just be like, yo, I feel like the spark's gone. And I think what it is, talking is the major thing here. Communicating each other's needs. I find that people don't tend to do that, and that's when they mooch off and get their other needs catered for. And if they've got that set up at home, usually it's the baby mom, that they can come home to whilst they go out and screw. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't my wife a title. I don't want it.
I think that happens though, isn't it? It's like once you've just had like you as well, Joe, you've had a 20, is it 24 or 22-year relationship? That was obviously quite traumatic. So 24 years.
Could I ask you, in that 24-year relationship, were all your 10 kids to him?
8 of them.
Oh, okay. And then the other 2 was to the other guy who passed on?
No. It's a bit complicated than that, but
okay. Sorry, I was just assuming. But wow, so you had 8 children with your first partner.
Yeah.
That must have been intense, yeah.
It was. Mm-hmm. But I says, like, I'll get up that wifey material thing. And then, like, with this other partner, like my recent partner, I was supposed to be wifey, but he was digging it everywhere, so I just up and left the wifey department.
Good on you. Good.
I've been working no more. Bye.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
That
is.
Give me what I want and need, then that's it. I'll give me nothing that I already got. So.
Would you say you've given up, Joe, on like finding that perfect guy?
Yeah, I've given up looking. I don't think I'm ever going to find one. But like I said, they can't bring nothing to me because I've already got everything. I've got a house, I've got a car, I've got my independence. I can do what I want. I can go where I want. Do you know what I mean? I had nobody looking at my phone, checking. I ain't got no drama. So if they
It's
want
bliss, innit? Single is bliss. Being out of a relationship is bliss, especially if you're in the wrong relationship. All that what Joe just said, it's like freedom, because you're not suppressed. You don't have to answer back to someone or just like tiptoe around someone, just to not offend them or something because they don't like what you're doing. Like my partner wouldn't like like I said, my notifications on. Can you turn it on silent, please? Do you know what I mean? Because it's really irritating you. I don't know why. If I'd pop out anywhere, when I was going to college to do my counselling, I was, and I'd go for the weekend, Friday till Sunday. So I've left and I was working Monday to Friday. And I was pregnant. How do you think I've got the time to find a man? Where do you think I'm going to have that? I'm going to degrade myself to go and sleep with someone whilst I'm pregnant, mind you. Do you know what? When I think about it now, even though this was like some time back, because my son's just coming at 1 in July, and I found out when I was in hospital actually, that I cheated on me just a couple of weeks before I was in the hospital, and I had an emergency C-section. It was horrible, it was traumatic, but yeah, it's come back because it's still kind of fresh. And when it's come back, I'm like, why did you take that little rat back? Especially when I seen the kind of gal that he went with.
Yeah.
I think that's heartbreaking for women, and well, not so much men, because women don't tend to cheat with bad guys. They tend to try and find something that's sort of like a little bit better than what they've got, maybe. But I mean, from a man's perspective, and I've seen this, like I'm talking really good looking guys that have got a good girlfriend, and they will go home with like a state, basically. They will go home with anything, and that just goes. I think that might even reinforce the fact that men are able to just sort of put it about meaninglessly, for a little bit, not consistently, because if they consistently do it, then there's going to be problems. Like the emotions are going to come in, but it's always a tough situation anyway. But I think as well, the independence of like women sometimes, it's almost, the independence is almost like a man. If you've got your shit together and you don't need a man to look after your bills, to sort of do anything, if your finances are together and everything, that's kind of replaced a man. So then it makes it harder for you to even look at another man, because if your man comes to you, you're like, wow, what do you do? And maybe if he doesn't have his shit together the way you've got your shit together, it's like, oh, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. I've already got my stuff together. Why are you laughing, Joe?
Because I'm just thinking, I'd want him to have his own house.
There we go.
I'd want him to be able to look after himself, because I don't want any responsibility, right? And I'd want to see him and he can go back to his house. Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want him to come back to mine. Like, just live with me. With my space.
Yeah.
I don't just one of them. I mean, obviously, that's how I'd want it at first. And maybe if you sort of get together and catch feelings, then just, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, but gradually, innit? Gradually get into something. That's how I see my future's like this. This is what I'm saying. I don't mind being celibate. Before I met my last baby father, my child is 1. I was 3 years celibate. Now we're fine. I was so nice. I was nice. I didn't have to take orders off anyone, please anyone. I could just please myself. I went on nobody else's watch. I went on no one else's routine all the time. And I loved that. And then as soon as I got into the relationship, it was just like, I think it were a bit too much because it happened really quick anyway. And I've totally forgot where I was going with that.
That's all right. We hear you. We hear you. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Last 5 minutes. So this is gonna be. I'm just gonna put a couple of questions to you, both of you. I'll start with you, Joe. Red. You obviously you said you had 8 kids with sort of a not so much nice guy.
Yeah.
And I was going to talk about red flags and stuff like that you had in the relationship. Like, most people would have said to you, you know, on day one, sort of, you know, like maybe even year one, year two, year three, where you might have had one kid and the guy's shown that he's violent. If you would have left that guy then and there, like most people would have told you, you wouldn't have some of your kids.
Oh no, yeah.
So I mean, isn't that crazy?
It's mad because like, say I was brought up around domestic violence. Do you know what I mean? So where I lived, like, blokes hit the women, and it was normal thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I was in that type of relationship, like, I just thought it was normal thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was normal thing, like that was how married people was treated. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of them. And like, it wasn't until I was like, I'd say I'd had about my 6 kids, and then I was thinking, what am I actually doing now? Why am I taking this shit? Do you know what I mean? It was like, it was hard. It was like, well, he can't think that much of me. He tells me he loves me, and like, he don't do nothing for me. Do you know what I mean? Because I was doing everything myself as a person, and I was thinking, well, why am I still here? And it was only the kids that was holding me back, holding me there, because they feel like there was enough support out there where I could reach out and say, like, can you help me?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I just find it fascinating because, you know, most people would have literally just said to you, like, as soon as they figured out, on no matter how many kids you had with them, they would have said, you know, just leave that guy, leave him, and you know, leave him, move away, run away. But the thing is, if you would have done that, you wouldn't have your kids now, you know, and that's just a crazy sort of dilemma to play off in your head, you know. Obviously, you don't want people to be getting beat in their relationships, whatever, but you wouldn't have 3 or 4 of your kids if you left that guy straight away, you know. And God knows, you know, that's just so. Do you not find that interesting, Ray?
No,
Yeah.
I really do like how you put a spin on that, you know, and played out that dialogue, you know, of just imagine if you just imagine if you would have ended it a lot sooner, those other children would have existed, basically. You know, it would be hard for Jo to comprehend that because she does have her 8 children.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I do like how you did that. But you were talking about red flags as well, and I want to go there because, like, and this might be a segment of its own, narcissism. Narcissists. I mean, it seems to be everybody's talking about a narcissist. They've been with a narcissist, or, you know, I thought my guy was autistic, or it's just a narcissist. But my kind heart was thinking he might have got just like traits of autism, because there's a very thin line between autism and narcissism. You know, like the lack of empathy, you know, the no remorse, you know, their actions, the way that they kind of like perceive and take on reality and accountability and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I were like kind of letting him get away with his narcissistic behavior by saying, I think he's autistic all the time. I think, even though he's not diagnosed with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was fooling myself, you know. Now I look back and I just think, nah, he's a straight up narcissist. And I'm going to be adamant about that now, you know. Because even when I said it to his family, they were like, oh, how dare you say he was autistic? Well, all right then. He's not autistic. He's straight up narcissist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one. I wouldn't even think that, you know. I would just think that, that would never even come into my head, you know. And I think that just goes to show that maybe you were trying to make excuses for him. Because, like, in my life, I have never heard anyone I don't think I've heard anyone even come up with something like that. Normally, if a guy's being like, I know Joe, your partner wasn't a nice guy. I know for a fact you weren't looking for any sort of like blue flags for him to sort of wait for him to say, oh, maybe he's autistic or something like that.
Got a blue flag over here.
We have the red flag, the blue flag, just sort of waving one for him. Like, honestly, I think there, Ray. I think maybe definitely that you were looking for excuses to help, to obviously, you know, and naturally you do. It's a coping mechanism. If you're staying with someone, you don't want to just think that you're with someone and they're an evil bastard or whatever. You know? You don't want to think that. So you're willing to think anything, you know. So, geez, yeah. Well, you don't want to be making excuses for people as well. I would say that. Anyway, last thoughts, guys. Last thoughts. Joe, just sum it up for us. Why aren't men and women staying together nowadays?
Because I feel like it's to do with social media. There's too many platforms where people tend to join up to, and like they see a nice woman and they start chatting to them on the sly, meeting up with them, and then just having that little bit of like having your cake and eating. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. And I'll end it with you, Joe. Sorry, Joe. We won't finish. Sorry, go.
That's the whole issue, I think.
Okay. Right.
And I just agree with what Joe said. I would have just said exactly what Joe said. So, and I just want to say it was nice to meet you as well, Joe.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry to hear, about the loss of your other partner and what you went through, with that 23-year duration of doing that. I mean, my mum was in a domestic violent relationship. So we went from hostels to hostels to hostels to hostels, so she could try and escape. So I do understand, what domestic violence is, as being a child coming from that. Like you said, you found it very normal. I think actually a little bit of domestic violence seeped into my relationships, but I was not the victim. I was the one that was doing it.
Yeah.
That, I was on the offense. I was on the attack.
Yeah.
So it might have got something to do with that learned environment or something, or protection. For me, it was protection. I remember I'm just going to end with this one. Yeah, sorry about this.
No, it's fine.
When I met my baby father, my first, my children's dad, I was in a hostel and he were coming close to me and he were cussing me. He were proper coming close. Bear in mind, I watched my mum get beat by a fellas all the time. And I'm making a drink with the kettle. He was coming closer and closer and closer to me. I just went poof like that with kettle, straight across his face. And then he's grabbed me. Check this one, because to be honest, he didn't batter me. He could have. I thought, yo, man's gonna batter me now because I've just swung for him with the kettle. Good job it weren't hot. It weren't hot, everybody. It was cold, but it was full. But yeah. And he's picked me up. I was pregnant though, and he's took me to the single bed, and then he's put me and he's on the bed and he's just shaked me a little bit. Not hard, but he's like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" But then I kind of like brought down, and then that kind of opened up the doors to let him know a little bit about my, past history with domestic violence and growing up with that. But that's another day. We could probably get into something like that another day, Joe.
Definitely. I think Wednesday, definitely I'm going to talk about domestic violence. I've got someone on that actually, she specializes in it, and she actually builds refuges and stuff like that for women that are suffering with domestic violence. So Wednesday, you're both, obviously Joe, obviously Ray, you'll be on, but Joe, if you want to come.
Violence, because that's what I want to get. I want to do that all day. I want to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. So definitely. Yep. Sorry. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. So, guys, make sure you tune in Wednesday, 9 o'clock. We're going to be talking about domestic violence in relationships. We're going to have an expert come on as well, along with Joe as well. So it'll be a great show. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Joe, Ray, thank you very much.